Hello class, I hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to make this video to discuss the differences between volume control and pressure control. So let's go ahead and start with volume control. So with volume control, we have a set tidal volume and our PIP will vary based on our airway resistance and our lung compliance. What exactly does that mean? Let's break it down. So in volume control, I have a set tidal volume. So for instance, I have, let's say, a tidal volume of 500 milliliters, okay? So that is what I have set. So what this means is the ventilator will give a tidal volume of 500 milliliters come hell or high water. It doesn't matter if you have floppy lungs, whether you have healthy lungs, stiff lungs, anything in between, the patient will get 500 milliliters. It will give whatever pressure necessary to achieve that 500 mils. If it takes 5 centimeters of water pressure, 500 mils. If it takes 10 centimeters of water pressure, 500 mils. Doesn't matter whether it takes 100 centimeters of water pressure, a million. By definition, volume control will give you that volume at whatever pressure necessary to deliver that volume. Now let's compare that to pressure control. With pressure control, we have a set PIP. So whatever pressure I set, that is what the patient is going to get. So for example, we might have a set PIP of 20 centimeters of water pressure. So the patient is going to get 20 centimeters of water pressure during every breath, but their tidal volume will vary based on their airway resistance and their lung compliance. So, for example, if the patient on a peak inspiratory pressure of 20 centimeters of water pressure got a tidal volume of 500 milliliters, and then after that, their lungs became stiffer or their airway resistance increased, suddenly it's now going to take more pressure to achieve that 500 mils. But that patient is only getting the 20 centimeters of water pressure that I set. So if I have them set to 20, they were getting 500 milliliters and their lungs become less compliant, stiffer, my volumes might go down. My volumes, I might only get, say, 300 milliliters. And it can go the other direction as well. For instance, if my patients, their lungs got floppier, they got more compliant, then at the same pressure, I might get larger volumes. I might get, say, 800 mils for that 20 centimeters of water pressure. Compare that with volume control. It doesn't matter what my airway resistance or my compliance is, I'm gonna get that same volume. So let's say I have a patient with healthy lungs, okay? And I have them set to 500 milliliters. And when they get their 500 milliliters, their PIP is about 20 centimeters of water pressure, okay? And then their lungs become stiffer. Their lungs become non-compliant. They become rock hard. So it's gonna take more pressure to reach that 500 mils, but the vent will do it. It will give whatever pressure necessary to achieve that 500 mils. So let's say these lungs become stiff and rock hard. It's not gonna take 20 centimeters of water pressure. It might take 40 centimeters of water pressure. It's gonna give whatever pressure necessary to deliver that 500 mils. And just like with pressure control, it can go the other direction too. If their lungs become more compliant, they become floppier, it's still going to give the same 500 mils, but it's going to do it at a lower pressure. So if my lungs become floppier, it might not take 20 centimeters of water pressure to inflate. It might take 10 centimeters of water pressure. And again, these are all just numbers I made up. These are all examples. Pressures and volumes, it's all going to vary from patient to patient, but how they interact with each other is going to be the same. So just remember, with volume control, you get that set tidal volume come hell or high water. No matter how much pressure it takes, it will give you that volume. With pressure control, you get that set pressure, and whatever tidal volume they get, they get. This is a great mode for patients who you are worried about barotrauma and volume trauma. They will only get the PIP that I have set, nothing more, so we don't have to worry about blowing out the patient's lungs. Disadvantage is we don't have a set minute ventilation that we would get with our volume control. Pressure control does not have a set minute ventilation, volume control does. So we have more precise ventilation with volume control, but safer ventilation with pressure control. I hope that clears up a little bit about the questions you guys have with volume versus pressure control. As always, send me all the questions you have. I love answering questions. This class is doing a great job right now, and I'm really proud of all of you. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope you're enjoying clinicals. Thank you.